Hi everybody. Today we've got Megan from Bernina Technical Services with us again. We decided it's time for some more tech tips with you. So Megan is going to talk to us about overlockers. She's going to give you tips on cleaning, on what you've got to look for maintenance on your overlocker. And then she's also going to share one of her tips when you're doing rolled hems. Yeah, so welcome, Megan.
Yeah, thanks, Elsabe. So nice to be here. Your place is looking absolutely
beautiful.
Thank
you. Yeah, the last time you were here, we're still working in the garage, so this is totally new for you.
Very zooty, beautiful. And I love your forms. I love the purple.
Thank you so much.
Pleasure.
All right, so I'm actually sitting in and I'm going to listen to what Megan is saying. She's going to do all the talking today. And so we're just going to hand it over to Megan so that she can have a chat with you.
Excellent. Thanks so much again. It's so nice to be here. Okay, so basically today we're discussing about what you can do at home with your overlocker just to prolong the life of the machine and also, you know, to get you going between services. You obviously need to look after it. So let's start right away. What I'd like to suggest before you guys at home actually start cleaning your machine is make notes of your settings. You can either take a picture or make a note, especially your stitch length, your differential feed and your tensions. Tensions are the most important, so just make a little note of that because we are going to take them completely to naught. So we'll turn everything to naught on your machine, or 1, whatever's the loosest. Open up, this is called your cloth plate, so we're going to open up your cloth plate. This is called your looper cover. We're going to open up your looper cover. It's also nice to take your little accessories out of the door if you are so lucky to have a machine with these accessories in, because you know you can loosen them and then you lose them. Then you have a grovel on the floor to try and find them. So we're going to put those over there. We will take our threads off as well, so you don't need threads while you're cleaning. I'm going to pop those over there. Okay, so the first place that you're going to actually clean is inside the looper area. What I keep is a small little paintbrush. I see Elsabe's also got one. Hers is a smart one. Mine is normal. They call this a skirting brush. So you can see it's almost equally in width and length. And it's quite long. Specifically to paint on your skirtings at home. This we then cut. I like to say a thumb. Just give it a sort of a thumb length. Snip it off. The hairs do jump all over the place when you snip them. So snip them right into a dustbin. And this is what you actually use to clean your machine. I then, just let me move this up. There we go, I've got this. I brought some oil with. This is a really handy little hint. So what you do is you take a little bit of your sewing machine oil. It will be in a Bernina bottle, so you get the sewing machine oil. Do you know you get the red tip and the blue tip bottle, the oils now?
No, I've only known the
yes, it's actually a new oil that's come out, and it'll be nice for your ladies with the more modern machines. The blue tipped, okay, it won't be a bottle like this, but the normal bottle with the blue oiling spout is a finer oil. Okay. So it doesn't build up as much grease and
all right. Then we'll definitely start looking at.
So it's like the 5 series, the 7 series, the 8 series ladies. Definitely get that. So that I actually wanted to mention. Alright, so you take your oil and pop a little bit in the palm of your hand. You'll then take your brush and you'll just oil the tip of your brush. With that oiled tip, you then dab inside your machine. Elsabe's machine is so clean. But when your machine is dirty, you dab inside the machine and you pick up all the little pieces of fluff and you just rub it off onto a tissue or a cotton roll or a piece of fabric that you have. So you basically clean it, and in this process you're also lubricating your parts. You're keeping them nice and especially the coastal ladies, rust free. So you'll clean inside, everywhere. You notice once again I'm not spitting, because as much as we like to believe we don't spit when we blow, we definitely don't want to get our machines rusty. Clean, clean, clean. Wash, wash, wash. Wipe, wipe, wipe. Do all the things like
Sorry,
that.
I always clean my machines after sewing.
Okay, what you do need to be very aware of, and this is a very important place, this section over here. Peter, can you actually see this for us? I just want to indicate it with a little yellow brush. So this here is the shaft that the loop is attached to. And this is a bush that it runs through. So this is important because it keeps your looper's arm in position. This is where you need to be very particular about cleaning. So once fluffies get caught inside there, it's too late. So you need to continually keep that area clean.
Remember, sorry, I'm going to interrupt. Remember we had a customer years ago whose machine was jammed because she was just skimming and all the fluff was building up.
Yeah, definitely. I think we actually gave it a bit of a force in the shop.
Yeah. You'd have to go, it wouldn't turn.
Wouldn't turn at all. Okay, so what happens, it gets caught inside there, and there's a fraction of a millimeter of space inside there. There's a hair's breadth for the movement of that arm. Like I said, once it goes in there, it's too late. So when you sew, it actually forms like a little washer. You'll see like a little washer of fluff that moves up and down on the shaft here. Continually remove that. So that's that area over there. Another very important area to keep clean is this section here. This is where the two shafts oscillate. So you can see, you'll see they actually move. This stays stationary and this will move down. So it's this area here that needs extra attention and cleaning. Once again, it's odd because it's at the back. It's sort of at the back over there that the fluff, and I can't catch Elsabe out. It's so nice and clean there as well. Alright, so you need to keep that nice and clean. Alright, and they're also your oiling points. Only two parts that you can oil on your overlocker. One is inside there and one is onto that sort of like, let's call it an elbow movement over there. So you'll take a drop of oil and you're going to pop it over there on the top, and this one you're going to pop it behind the silver shaft onto the back section over there. Once again, just a little drop, and then you turn it. It was a bit dry. Okay, so now you can feel it's definitely nice and loose. So the oiling onto dirt is increasing your problem, so it needs to be beautifully clean for you to oil in those two sections over there.
I always suggest for my ladies, well, when I sew, before I start a new project, I clean up my machine and
change your colours.
Change my colours, clean. I don't sew on a machine that's got fluff in on my new fabric.
No, absolutely. Imagine you're working on black and now you're going on to a white project and you get all of those little like white fluffies and you iron it open and your seam has got this black arrangement.
So that's why mine looks like that. I am in the habit, I won't start a new garment until it's clean.
You're just too good, Elsabe.
Oh no, that's just... I think we've seen too many dirty machines come into the shop, and then I think, really, how can you sew on this? So I've got a thing about a dirty machine. I always say,
those machines that arrive that are so dirty, what do the teacups look like? It's like, oh, some of them. Anyway, so this is a lovely machine as well because the pressure foot does swing out, so that is for ease of threading, but we're not really going to concentrate on that. It does get fluffy and dirty in that section, so you can keep that nice and clean. I'm just going to turn the blade back so we don't hurt ourselves. You can once again lower down your shaft so that your needle bar is completely at the bottom. Keep that area clean. Once again, with the oiled brush tip, push it up here. Just dab it like that, and you can grab, still no fluff, Elsabe. You can grab your fluff up here, and then you wipe it off. I mean, not everybody's machine is going to look so beautiful at home, so you just keep it clean, wipe it off, wipe. You can take your paper towel and clean it as well. It's also fine to oil on your paper towel. Just put a slight little smudgy and you'll see that you'll absolutely collect all of the fluffs.
Yes.
Keep it all clean. What we are going to do as well, once that has been moved, we've cleaned at the top, we're going to just clip off our foot. And for those ladies that don't know how that happens, there is a little clip at the back of your pressure foot over here. It's black, isn't it? Yes.
Yeah.
It's the black, that's what actually gets your pressure foot off. So we're going to clip it off again. The pressure foot lowers. You lift it up to the second height. There's your second height. It doesn't stay up. So you've got down, you've got normal up, and you hold it. You compress it with your finger. There's your extra height. That's also useful if you're putting something very thick underneath your pressure foot. So it doesn't stay up, you hold it and then you push your polar fleece or whatever it is underneath. So we take our pressure foot off like that. We're then going to get a screwdriver. Okay.
Hopefully ladies or all of you gents and ladies are watching this, because I know not all of us, and now Megan might catch me out, I only do it about every 3 months. I'll take my plate off to clean there. So
let's have a look.
So let's see. So maybe we're going to find some dust there, but you've got to do maintenance at home. If you don't do maintenance, you know, you're going to end up with other problems on your machine. So it's so important to oil your machine.
Yeah,
to
this
clean
is
your
like,
machine.
like I think I said the last time as well, this is like checking your tire pressure, changing your oil, or checking your oil and water between services.
Yeah.
You're definitely not servicing it, but you are maintaining it between services. So it's definitely... if the screws are difficult to loosen, what you do is you just put your screwdriver onto it and give it a little tap. The one screwdriver you can just tap with the other one, and that jolt actually loosens it, because sometimes if it's factory tight, it's difficult to loosen. So what I do is I loosen it and then I just roll it with my finger into that section, and they come out. And you'll see I have a little cloth that I put all of the goodies that I take off on here, so it doesn't roll on the floor, etc. Very, okay, don't look Elsabe, I want to see if I can get you out. No, it's actually beautiful and clean.
Oh no, there's fluff, there's fluff.
Okay, alright.
So there's some fluff.
Yay, we've got to do it. Sis Elsabe.
Because I haven't done that for, I only do that every couple of months. So if I, you know, because I don't always get time to sew, but if I do sew a lot, I'll go check. Okay, so once again what we're going to do is pop that little bit of oil on here, and we're going to just, you'll see how, then it picks it up.
See how it picks up the fluff, and you wipe that off, and it picks up the little bits of fluff, and you wipe it off. Okay, instead of the dry brush, if I could just take this brush which is dry, and you just go like this, it actually just sprays that fluff everywhere. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, and if you look inside here as well, there is a little bit
we always get the corners where you can't get
in there.
So, yeah.
So we'll just click that underneath the needle plate. This you can also see your self-threading looper, that red one that moves backwards and forwards. Behind there, you also get like a build-up of, it's almost like an oily, it's a little bit of an oily build-up. Gosh, it's very difficult to see actually. Let's have a look.
Megan has done with a whole cleaning kit today. So.
Toothpicks and earbuds have never meant the same to me ever before. Alright, so it's nice to get an earbud and just clean them. You can see.
Yeah, I can see.
There's that little bit.
Can you see that?
Now, this is actually unfortunately, our atmosphere. It's full of grime, and we breathe it in and good things like that. So it's the dust on your cottons. It runs through, and that little hook that actually where the self-threading looper, the cotton lies in, it runs forwards and then backwards there, so it gets a lot of it comes off there.
Okay, all right.
So it's important to remember there. So I'm just going to give it a little bit of a rub. Yes, and obviously the cotton can't run through there smoothly if there's a little bit of gooey stuff there. So there's that section again. I don't know if you'd like to look there, Elsabe.
I want to see.
See, there it is there.
Okay,
you can actually see, can you see it? It's still there.
Yeah, it's still there. Yeah, I can see that.
So we're just taking that off.
Unfortunately with the camera, I don't think we can get in exactly there. Peter says we can just see a little bit.
But it's basically where the cotton will catch around to come backwards.
And the ladies that don't have the looper, the self-threading looper, they'll still have to
They will exactly the same position. You then hook it there manually. So the self-threading looper, which is on this range and the nicer, the bigger Berninas. So that is what you bring it backwards and forwards. The other ladies, what did they pass it back?
Yeah, they pass it through. So it's your bottom looper where you would usually go. And
your red one. The more difficult one to thread.
Yeah. So that one, just make sure you clean it nicely. I can see nicely now where Megan has shown it. Actually, it's almost like a gooey there.
Like a glue. It builds up. Okay, so that's a nice important part to remember. Yeah, and I always like to take my roll hem plate forward and backwards, because you can see that this machine even has a little bit of a cotton threading. And you just move it up and down, and you can clean inside that section there. Once again, just with the earbud to make sure that it moves nice and freely. And underneath the little, this mechanism is what moves backwards and forwards to give you your MTC. Yeah. It moves left and right for MTC and up and down for your roll hem. Okay. So when your thread is not being expanded over this tongue, it then forms over the pin, and that's what your actual needle thread is forming over to make your roll hem.
That's where I roll them. Yes. And I just wanted to ask you how. Look, I always clean the fluff from the inside and check my oil. How often would you suggest that they do this whole story of the stitch plate?
If you sew every day, I do this once a week. If you are like a lady that sews once a month, we call them the weekend warriors. So you're a once a month lady, maybe then. So you're once a week lady, maybe once a month. But you know what? When it looks dirty.
Okay.
Yeah, that's always a good indication. Don't go work with a machine that's dirty. And also, a good advice is to as you change projects.
Okay.
It's also good to do that. Okay. All right. So we've got this nice and clean. In this stage now, I'd also change my needles. Because we fiddled around there, we've touched them and whatever. So it's nice to have a new set of needles put in. Also, good advice is never take both needles out at the same time, because there's such small tolerances where those needles fit in. And if you take them both out, you're inclined to maybe put them in slightly skew. So remove the one, put the other one in, vice versa.
All right. That's also something that I always mention if I do tips with overlockers and that at the shop. I always tell the ladies, don't take both out. I just find it so much easier.
Because there's like a place then for it to fit in. It doesn't wander around. Especially the combination machines where you've got your cover stitch and your overlocker together with those 4 holes. Oh, that's a nightmare if you take them all out. Then you're like, really don't.
Then you're really searching for it.
Okay. Your needles, your needle screws loosen exactly the same as other screws. Left is loose, right is tight. So good old saying, lefty loosey, righty tighty. Okay, that also applies. If by argument's sake you do over loosen these little screws and they do come out completely, they're frightfully difficult to get back inside. I don't have a magnet here, but what I do suggest that you do is just have a little magnet at home. Take your screwdriver and rub it on the magnet. So for argument's sake you just rub it like this. It magnetizes it for a short amount of time. Okay. Place that screw onto the tip of the screwdriver and then put it back in. Yeah, so you're at least holding it with the tip of the screwdriver.
Because also when I loosen, I tell everybody just about 3 turns is enough to get your needle in and out.
And especially if you're using your needle inserting brush.
Yes.
These little brushes. I know they come with the new machines.
We sell them separate as well. We have them separate,
The brush is a poor excuse for a brush. It's actually the hole that you're so interested in, because that fits over and you've got like nice control over those needles when you take them in and out. Yeah, and what I wanted to say is you definitely sell them. So the machines that don't come with them, or if somebody's lost them, or keep one with your sewing machine. It's such a dream with your sewing machine as well.
No,
to get it in and out. Okay, so we would have taken the needles out. I'm not really going to do that for you now. Cleaned in this area over here. There was something I wanted to tell you and I've forgotten. I'll remember. Okay, so we're going to concentrate on the top section here over now. So this is where your cotton lies in. So obviously the tension discs clamp up when you lower your foot. The higher the tension, the bigger the number, the tighter the discs clamp together. The lower, the looser the clamping mechanism is. So what we do is we take it all to 0 or to 1, and we'll take a piece of fabric. So we take this. We're now going to drag the fabric through this area to clean it. So you mustn't drag the end of your fabric. You need to drag a piece that you folded over. I like it on the bias. So just a little square, fold it on the bias, and this you can drag up and down inside your arms.
That's just also for fluff buildup in there.
Absolutely, and also that gooey, grimy stuff that collects on your cotton, that was hanging over there.
We still have ladies with the older overlockers with the knobs in the front.
I'll explain that to you, exactly. So you just move it up and down like this, and you take it out and you open it up, and you can see, so there is
definitely some fluff.
There's just a grimy buildup.
Maybe.
Can you see it? Okay, fabulous. Alright, so we need to do that. Now don't take this same section and put it in the next one, because you're transferring dirt.
So just move.
Sorry, Elsabe. Okay. You're not naturally blonde, but I thought I'd just like mention that.
Now under all this funny colour now, there is a natural blonde, believe me. And so I do act like a natural blonde sometimes.
Just in case you're having a blue, well, it's a blue Wednesday. Okay, so once again, there's another little, so you can see there's the 2 sections. Let's do that.
You did catch me out. I might just have done that.
Another one. And I'm just going to get the next little piece.
Guys, can you see it's actually, Megan is really doing a full-on maintenance here for you that you can do at home. as I said, I don't do this whole maintenance that Megan is doing. I sometimes just clean the front, make sure all my fluff is out, check that I need oil. What I do sometimes, Megan, is on that mechanism of the top looper that's moving up or down, I just touch my finger on there and see if there's oil on my finger.
Yes, yeah.
If there's oil, then I know, okay, it's fine. If I don't get oil, because I know they say after so many hours, I don't know how many hours I sew on and off. So I literally go and touch it, and if there's no oil on my finger, I know it's dry. That's what I do.
It's difficult because the sewing machines have a counter, and they actually remind you oil,
yes.
and then they remind you now service time. With an overlock, you're inclined to forget, and it's an absolute workhorse. And I think it makes far more fluff than your sewing machine.
Oh no, definitely.
So you definitely need to get it serviced as often, if not more often, than your sewing machine. Your polo fleeces, track suiting, all of those make a huge amount.
I found when I worked on the chiffon that we're going to work on now as well. But also, I think it's just important that you do remind the people that you don't skim your fabric. If you just skim it, you're making more fluff. You've got to cut it off a little bit, even if it's only like 4 millimeters or anything like that.
That's why you have a seam allowance.
That's why you've got the seam allowance. That's why you cut, because if you don't, you're not getting a straight line in any case. And with that skimming, that's where the problem came, where that build up in that little section.
And then I'll show you just now, I'll explain to you about the blade and the movement of the blade, and when there's the gap then what happens.
Okay.
It's very dangerous because your loopers bash. You crash your loopers when the little pieces of offcut run in there.
Yes.
And you eventually then end up replacing your loopers.
I'm so glad you could come today and share all this information with our customers.
Thank you so much.
Because you know what, I think coming from a technical side as well, and seeing what you guys do on the machines, we're not so full on what you're doing now. We're not familiar with all the technical issues that
I remember what I wanted to tell you. To clean the outside of your machine is that methylated spirits again. So it's a cup of meths to a tablespoon of jig, just to take, or bleach, to take that purple out. And you then clean the outside of the machine.
Okay, and it won't stain it or anything.
That's how you take the purple out. So you don't, it won't take the decals off either. So if you do put that wetness on your machine and you just rub over the decals, it won't smudge them. Obviously, don't sit and rub and speak to your mom on the phone. That's not going to work. So you need to just rub it clean.
So just to remind you guys, don't use the methylated spirits while it's purple. You've got to take the colour out.
Yes.
So it's a tablespoon of bleach.
Normal bleach, the cheapy bleach, not the thick bleach.
The blue bottle, the normal bleach. To a cup of
methylated spirits. And all of your white appliances at home cleans beautifully. Fridges, microwaves. Takes all of the gooey stuff off. Alright, so that's what I wanted to say. Now you spoke about the older machines with the external or those protruding out knobs, exactly the same. So what you do, if you can just imagine this tension unit coming forward, turn it to, they have zeros, turn it to 0, and you'll take your cloth and you'll just hook it in and out like that. Pressure foot, lift the lever up once again to make sure that the tension units are open. Not all makes of machines release their tension discs when the pressure foot comes up. That's why we turn it to 0 to 0.
Now I must say, when we do classes sometimes also I've noticed that some of them don't. They've got a release button or something.
And then it's actually uncomfortable because you've got to hold this button and then you've got to try and clean inside there. So you better get somebody to help you. You need a button pusher and then a cleaner. Phone your neighbour. Okay, so we've got that sorted out. We've got that. We've cleaned underneath here. Blade. Okay, you do need to, the blade actually collects fluff as well. So this is your lower blades. Let me just, believe it or not, there's some people that think the machine runs on one blade. So the blades are like a scissor. You have an upper and a lower blade. So this over here, this section here, let me just move my hand. This stationary section here, that's where your lower blade is over there. So behind it, because this is the bit that moves in and out, I'm going to ask you to just move the cutting width for me.
Okay, my cutting
little roller button there.
Okay, it's my cutting width.
Okay, so that whole thing came out, so you can clean at the back of the blade over there. So sometimes you have a little build up, so you'll just take your earbud or your toothpick, whatever fits in there, and you could get a bit of a fluff. Whatever fabric is inside there. So you take it out to the most and then you take it back again. Oh yes, and I just want to show you here. Thanks, Elsabe. I'm just going to close this. Okay, I'm pleased this is actually visual over here. If you can have a look and see over here, you'll see that this cover is actually protruding up.
Yes.
Okay, so this is when you pick your handle up,
Yeah.
actually knock it with your fingers.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, you need to keep it pushed in. There is a little clip, otherwise it does affect the performance of your machine.
Okay, I didn't see that before.
There you go.
All
All right. And it's
Okay.
something that can happen by accident. So it's when you pick it up in a hurry, you just unhook it.
Okay.
So just be aware of those, that the little covers are down, and just make sure you can just push them into place.
All right.
It expands the tension discs. It doesn't sort of keep them into position nicely. And yeah, you might find that you'll have a little bit of a tension discrepancy.
All right.
Okay, and another thing your machine does have is an on-off switch for the light. Okay, so, and there are a few clients that don't know that. Okay, so when it comes back from its service, we will actually have it in the off position. So don't phone Elsabe and say, oh, my machine's light doesn't work. Look at the back for an on-off switch before you phone her. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm just going to pop everything back together again, and I'll speak you through. I don't know if there's anything else that you'd like to just mention while we...
No, I think that is it. I just really, we do get people that never ever clean their machines. They think it's only once it gets serviced that you'll clean it. But you know what, Megan and them clean the inside of the machines, really what's happening on the inside. There's a lot of fluff going in there as well. We're just cleaning it where we can see. And that's why it's also important, even though you do all this maintenance, that your machine does go in for a service every now and then, because there's so many sections where you can't get in that Megan and them will clean. They actually open up the whole machine and you just clean the whole inside. You wash off some of the parts.
Everything, the gears get opened, we go through the motor gets put into a bath to clean out the carbon build-up. So yeah, there's lots of different things that happen to it. We check obviously for wear, so we can warn you maybe by the next time you're getting serviced, your gear is worn or your motor pulley looks like it's giving in. So at least you can save up a little bit as well.
It's basically just like your car, you can do the oil and the tires and everything else, but it's got to go in for that extra tender loving care that
it sounds like me talking.
So, yeah.
Oops, I'm just going to get this on.
Now Megan and them services all our machines that comes into the shop. They are Bernina technical department, but they also do service other makes and models of machines. So you're welcome to drop it off. Megan fetches machines from us on Tuesday mornings and Friday mornings. She comes early, so if you want your machine to go in on a Tuesday, rather drop it off on the Monday afternoon and your machine is going in on the Tuesday. Then she will give you a call and tell you exactly if there's anything wrong with your machine. If she needs to, if it's just a plain forward service, they'll service it for you. And then she'll contact you. We are the pick-up and drop-off point for them, but she'll be in contact with you and you will do a payment towards, do the EFT payment for Megan and them into their account. It's easier. Look, you're always welcome to drive through. If there's really an emergency, go and visit them in Kensington. But a lot of people find that it's easy just to drop it off with us. So, but they are available for, if you really need to just quickly go through to them,
welcome to.
You can always get the details from us. We'll give you the telephone number and the address as well.
And just if you are unaware, your spool poles, those little nodules. Yes. Okay, so the little nodules that are on this pole, if you take it to the left, you can actually feel them clicking in. They keep the pole stable. So always make sure that your little pole nodules are engaged. Okay, so have a look. There is a little screw that you can put in underneath here. So that seems quite loose. Maybe we need to adjust it up for you. It seems a bit wobbly.
Okay.
It's a bit better. Okay, so now we're going to thread up the machine. I'm just going to run through basically, check the tension quickly and give you a quick hint on roll.
Alright, so what we'll do, we're just going to actually let Megan quickly thread it and then we'll be back once the machine is threaded. Or do you want to show them how to thread?
No, I'm sure they all know how to thread their machine, or they can come through to you for help. Okay. But just a quick hint is the reels of cotton, let them all roll off in the same direction. Yeah, so that's also quite important. Okay. Yeah, let's thread up and we'll see you in a bit.
Yeah.
Okay, welcome back everybody, magic, it's all threaded. And I know if you're battling to thread, really, I know Elsabe is always there to help you. So, so that's always good to know. To get your machine to do a roll hem, which is just a little technique that we're going to show you today, You first need to make sure that your 3 thread is very stable and the tension on that is good. So I'm going to just roll off a sample thread. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to check to see that my upper thread is lying flat. I'm going to check that my lower thread is lying flat, that my needle thread is making just little nodules at the back, and at the top over here it's making a nice straight line. It's not pulling in, it's lying perfectly flat. Then we know that our 3 threads tension, so the starting is good. So we're happy with that. I'm naughty, I'll snip my cotton off over here.
Yeah. I just want to mention as well that don't start with a special technique like top stitching, or if you're going to do flat locking, before you actually test. If you've threaded, always take a piece of cotton fabric, calico, anything like that, and first test and make sure, because if there's something wrong and you're working on a knit or a chiffon or something like that, you know what, it's going to give you other issues and you don't realize then what is wrong, that it's actually your threading instead of something else. So this is the most important thing. You always have scraps there and test it after you thread it, and then you go to your fabric and test your fabric. Don't just go sew your garment and just start going on it, because you can have issues with it. So,
and it's important to remember the weft and the warp. So don't test along the warp, you know, downwards, across down the fabric, if you are actually going to be doing a hem across the warp, you know, the weft of the fabric. So that's also very important to remember. Okay, so we've got that done. So I know that my 3 thread is fine. I'm just going to get another single layer of, this is just nice, it's just nice cottony fabric. I'm going to tighten up my lower looper. So that's one of the first things that we do. I tighten up by 2 numbers. That you can finally adjust afterwards. I shorten my stitch length. The stitch length is normally the button at the top. You can go to 1.5. I take my differential slightly onto the side of 0.7. The differential feed has to do with the feed of the feed dog. It's not a foot. I do have some giggles when people say it's a differential foot. It ain't, it's the feed dog. So can you see there, Peter? So what happens is, I'll quickly show you here. Your differential feed moves forwards. That's to prevent stretching. And it moves backwards. That's to prevent puckering. So when it's on to 2, what happens is your feed dog over here comes very much more forward, and it pulls the fabric backwards more.
Just lift the feed dogs out a little bit, so that if you just turn the flywheel, just so they can, there we go, so now they can see it.
So there it's forward, so your stretches, that's to prevent your stretches from stretching out. When you take it to the smaller number, can you see the feed dog went completely in. Now they rotated smaller sections to prevent your fines from puckering. So that's what we want now. We want to prevent the fine from puckering. So we're taking it on to 0.7. Shorten the stitch length, 0.7. Pull your roll hem pin forward, built in. What a dream. If not, you change your plates. If not, you move the blade and you move the inner blade in and out to get the feed dog pin forward. So that's nice and easy. I'm then going to just lower this down. I'm going to just, what I like to do is I always like 1 or 2 rolls by hand to make sure that nothing is caught or jammed or in the incorrect position. Because if you just go sewing and the needles perhaps being influenced and going to hit the needle plate, you're just going to damage your machine. I'm going to roll it off. So make it closer together. I personally prefer a roll hem slightly more open, but that's a personal preference.
I also prefer it more open. I like it more open.
So that's my preference, but that's some people's preference. So there you have stitch length. I think I had it on 1.5, the stitch length over here. Here you've got your stitch length on 1. Okay, so you can see it's beautifully turned over. This looper that we're tightening up, what we're wanting to do is condense the looper here completely. So this little thread at the bottom here that's become so small, it basically tightens and it pulls your upper looper all the way over, tightens it up, and that's where you get the roll. The fabric rolls inside that extra section there. What happens that I've noticed is when you have your stitches too close together, you're almost like fighting for needle position, and you do get quite a distinct ridge.
Yeah.
So that's how
but also on my softer fabrics, I just don't like it. I don't know. I love the look of the slightly open. There you can also then use the floss, because the floss separates a little bit, and it looks more satiny as well.
Absolutely. So the floss thing closes it up. So that's basically as easy as a roll hem is. I'm going to do another piece over here. Ah, yes, I wanted to also show you. Your looper door has got a cutout. This is the cutout over here. So that is where your blade move, to allow for the movement of your blade. Right. So if you basically just shave a small piece of your fabric off, there is a slight gap underneath here. That's little bit of shaving can go inside. Your loopers are moving like this at an incredibly fast speed. At an incredibly fast speed. Okay, so the loopers are moving like this. If you were to get this little piece of fabric going through that hole there, and it gets involved in that mechanism, the looper, that's when they jam. Okay. So most of the times looper jamming is you're cutting off too little fabric. So what, 2-3 mils at least, and you need to have that tail.
So you have to have a tail going down the side there. If you're just skimming it.
So I'll show you that again. Oh, that's on that very. So basically, to keep that tail. Sorry, I'm working on the salvage here, but you need to keep a tail. And that tail then, and you've got your waste collector. Your waste collector, and then it falls into the waste collector.
And if you work with chiffon, I like to cut off about 1 centimeter, because the chiffon sometimes moves.
It slips in underneath. Yeah, I agree with you. And this is what's so nice about your markings over here. So this is where you guide your 1,5. So that's this will cut off 1 centimeter. So if you guide on 1,5, I think your 4 thread is 7 mils wide. So if you were to use these markings on the foot. This marking on the foot over here is exactly where your roll hem is forming. That over there is exactly where your roll hem is forming. So you can then gauge how much you're wanting to no, that's not. Yes, it is. You can see there, that's where your roll hem is forming. So everything onto the right hand side of that is going to be cut off. So I'm just going to move this a little bit more so that I can see what I'm doing. Beautiful fabric also.
I actually use it in my chiffon class where we designed our own chiffon top. It came out beautiful. It is such a lovely fabric.
And it's so easy to work with.
And that's not even starched. That one I worked unstarched. My other one, I made 2 chiffon tops. The other one I starched, because I told the ladies some of the fabrics need to be starched. Otherwise it's too slippery.
Too slippery and difficult to work with.
This is
this is a dream to work with.
It is absolutely beautiful.
It must be such a beautiful class.
Yeah. That's one of the online classes. So if you guys ever want to learn to sew with chiffon, I suggest look that, because I give you the first 2 classes. It's just tips and techniques on sewing with chiffon.
Oh wow! Yeah. So my excuse if I don't have the time is actually like non-existent.
No. Okay. You can watch this online at your own time.
I've just been wrapped over the knuckles. I'm going to just do a curve for you. You would obviously cut your curve normally. What a fail.
Okay, no, I actually wanted to see if it's going to happen to you guys.
Because I need to cut off more.
No, but not that. With this one, the fabric slipped. Okay, I had to go to higher foot pressure, and I actually put Avalon Plus on the top.
Oh, well, you're teaching me something. Thank you.
And then the Avalon Plus just worked it, and it kept it, because we had a curve that we worked with. Let's see.
Yeah, it's off.
Yeah, it keeps on the curve, it goes
it's on that
off.
extreme.
Yes, and I actually have my Avalon Plus in here somewhere.
That's interesting.
And we actually put it on top, and then it just sewed, and because we work with a lower temperature, I could still press, and it didn't melt my Avalon Plus or make it all gooey. And I could fold it over when we did a normal hem as well, when I just did 3 thread overlocking.
It's not going to take anything. It's on that actual, on that. Wow.
So guys, that's why you want to do my chiffon class, but it is a design class. You do need chiffon designs to design. But sometimes that happens. And remember, that's where the tips and techniques come in. I've worked with my Avalon Plus and I just cut a small strip. Let me see if I can find it here.
Well, this is actually why you do tests as well. So thank goodness this wasn't on my sexy 90 that I was making. It will become shorter and shorter and shorter.
Let me just quickly cut this piece there. Just try the corner now and you will see what happens. And remember, chiffons, we don't use high heat. We don't want to use water because it's sometimes some fabrics it will blotch a little bit. I'm just going to give you a small piece.
Do I just run it on the section?
Just put it on the top. Let me give you a longer piece. Sorry, I've given you a very short.
You can actually just do it over there. So am I going to sew over it on that curve?
So you sew on the curves, and you can curve the Avalon width. Okay, so start
as I get sort of here. But you've taught me something new. I'm so happy.
Look at that beautiful curve it's made. Alright.
Thank you. Look at that, that's beautiful.
So now I didn't trim off, guys. And then what I do, I go cut it right next to it. I'll cut off a little bit. And then when you wash it, it just washes away. It's a wash away stabilizer. It doesn't stay in there. So you've still got the soft drapey look of your chiffon.
You can actually see, look, it was starting to fall
off there.
It's on
and look how beautiful. Look at that. Just gives you a beautiful curve. And going on the bias on a curve, it doesn't stretch your fabric either. It keeps it nice and in, because sometimes on a curve you get those waves when you're doing your roll things.
And there are times you want waves, but there's times you definitely don't.
Not with this shirt. I don't want waves. So I had to play a little bit because on the curve it happened.
That's awesome. Yeah. Oh, that's excellent. Well, I taught you, you've taught me. Definitely very, very well spent morning.
Yeah.
But I think that's about it.
Okay, guys, so Megan has given you all these tips now. So
and your tip too, and your tip too.
So I really hope that you've learned a lot this morning with Megan going through all the cleaning and that. We are going to try and do like a tip tech every month where we're going to ask Megan to come in and she can give you tips, not just on maintenance on the machine, but she's also got some lovely sewing tips and techniques because she's been in the business for...
I don't even want to know.
I'm going to give away her age if I'm going to tell her.
Over 30 years.
Yeah, because she used to have a Bernina shop as well, and then I went over to technical. So
it's wonderful.
So we are definitely going to get Megan in more. So if there's also stuff that you've got questions and that, you can email us the questions, and then Megan can always answer it in the next video that we're going to do.
100%.
So I think that will be actually quite nice because then we know what people are battling with at the end of the day. So I really want to say thank you to Megan for giving up some time this morning to come through to us so that we can give you all this information.
Oh man, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Your place is really looking beautiful.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Okay, thank you. Bye.